You're watching Guude. You're watching Guude. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, and look at what I've done off camera.
Yeah, Jeff, you've done a lot of work. It's pretty impressive what you've done.
Putting in the hours,
single-handedly off camera. You're man. Good work,
It's the
Jeff.
dedication I have to this series.
I can tell. I mean, well, I guess it's like the dedication to killing the series in kind of a way.
I guess. Yeah, no, I'm assuming it was Breon that did this, which is very helpful.
If I understand correctly, Breon messaged me. And he said something like him, Cone, and Ryusuke were doing work on the ocean, is what he had said. So I guess that's what he meant by that. I didn't know what he meant at the time. I mean, I assumed he meant like sand. I didn't realize he'd also. But I guess if you put the sand down and then just remove the sand, that's actually, you know what? I was thinking when I saw this, I thought they had done digging, but I guess the only digging they did was removing the sand they placed. Now that I look at it and think about it. But that's, I mean, I'm not trying to like, all they did was dig sand.
Can't believe how little they did.
right. But for some reason, at first I was also thinking they had dug a bunch of stone out. But yeah, that's insane how much ocean they removed.
Yeah, it's a lot of ocean. Now, if we could just log out and log back in and have it be another.
Right? Every week there's just more ocean gone. It's like some kind of weird Santa Claus. Sandy Claus.
Sandy Claus.
So, in between episodes, I listened to lots of YouTube videos about the Mandela effect, and you know, really, I mean, I bring this up like and it makes it sound like I'm about to say a bunch of shit, but I'm not, because you know, and I meant to actually, before we recorded again, do more research about the Berenstain Bears, because that kept being brought up in that. And the thing is,
that's like the biggest one I think that started everything after Mandela.
I was about to say, well, it's not the Berenstain Bear effect, but well, see, the thing about that is, I swear I've heard.
Let's start our own effect. We'll call it the Berenstain Bear effect. It's for people who believe in the Mandela effect, but also know that Mandela didn't die in prison.
Right. You can identify as the Berenstain Bear man. Because I swear that I had read somewhere at some point or another that the Berenstain Bears were, and depending on like the location you get the books or something like that, that they actually were Berenstain, not Bernstein, or Bearstain or whatever it is. But I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm just remembering this wrong. Because that doesn't get brought up in any of these YouTube videos. It's just that it's it's easy to confuse, because Stain is not a common ending of a name, but Steen is all that keeps getting brought up in the YouTube videos when it talks about the Mandela effect. But most of the big ones were ones that you guys had already brought up. So I didn't really, there wasn't any of like new ones where I was just like, whoa. But it is kind of fascinating to me that, but I can totally understand how this happens, where well, and you know, so I think one of the big ones for me, whenever you guys were talking about it, was Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, because you always associate that with Snow White. Apparently, in the original text, the book itself, it is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. It's only in the first adaptation of the movie that it says Magic Mirror on the Wall. And so, in like common things like Shrek, whenever Farquaad says it, or whoever else, they always say Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, and it's thought that it's, you know, going back to the original text, and that's why it's the most commonly thought of, even though in the movie it is Magic Mirror on the Wall.
I mean, so that makes perfect sense to me, but just to refute that concept for a second, why would everybody remember more of the original written text than the movie that they probably saw as opposed to reading the book?
Well, anytime, I mean, all the, like the little, you know, like the little golden books, like the kid books, all those also say Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. And I feel like,
so you think it was said differently in that first adaptation but then in everything popular that copied that phrase, they said the phrase that everybody currently remembers and thinks was the original.
Right. Right. And so it just becomes, because I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw Snow White. I mean, it was 1937 that was created, if I remember the year right. So I mean, I don't even know if I've seen that in my adult life to remember it, but you know, and all the rip-offs or things that, I guess rip-off is the right word, but things that reference it, they always do the mirror, mirror. So if one person does it and the next person does it, then it just becomes the popular thing, and that's all you remember, even though the original was something different.
So what you're saying is the Mandela effect didn't blow your mind to be like, oh my God, CERN has destroyed us all.
I mean, like, and even then, even if I suddenly did think, fuck, there's been multiple universes that have come together or whatever, I wouldn't necessarily be like, it had to be, this was the cause. I mean, I feel like taking it that step further and like saying CERN did it is just an added like if this is true, how would you know what the real cause is, sort of thing, you know?
I mean, I agree. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Oops.
So no, I'm not a believer. Wish I was.
That's a shame.
I'm
sure so many people were waiting and hoping. I'm in the fishing area looking for books.
But I mean, it is kind of fascinating when you think about all these different things that throughout history are remembered one way but happened another. I wasn't alive I mean, I was alive, but I wasn't old enough at the time that the Mandela thing could have happened. So that one's not one that can really. I mean, that one is interesting, but apparently there were a lot of people, whenever, you know, I watch these videos, there's a lot of people imprisoned in similar situations as Mandela, and he was often in the news and all that, and so that's why they believe that people, imprisoned and died, and his wife was always on TV and stuff, so that's why black people believe that, people think that he did die just because of how much news coverage was given to those that were dying, and he was like the figurehead of it all when people would refer to it as far as what was happening. So that's what the thought is, at least. But I don't know. It is interesting.
No, I'm with you. I think it's funny to look at things that I might have thought wrong in my life as well, but not jumping to the conclusion that, oh my God, you know,
yeah,
universes are coming together. Or just, oh man, I, as well as a bunch of other people, thought wrong this whole time. You know, type of deal.
Right. I think it could make a cool movie.
I'm sure that there will be or has been movies about this concept that we don't...
apparently it only was popularized in 2016, so this isn't even something that has been a theory or whatever you want to call it for a very long time, honestly.
Well, I guess it's going to be hard because when this movie comes out, it's going to come out probably competing with the Flat Earth movie then. Those got to come out.
I mean, it was funny that you brought that up because in none of the videos I watched about this did they throw that out there as a possibility. The Earth was flat.
The Flat Earth was never the possibility in there.
Oh, that it was in some universe the Earth is flat.
That is kind of entertaining to think about. Why can I not?
I think that would be my favorite thing if that was the case. If it was all proven and then come to find out there's a universe where planets are flat.
I mean, it's kind of like Sliders. You've seen the TV show Sliders. I think we talked about it before, right?
Yeah, I don't really remember it very well. But
it's the one where they open up parallel Earths.
Mm-hmm.
And I can completely imagine, like... Oh, god damn. That threw me off so much. I just put a enchant on a shovel, and like all of a sudden my shovel was on the ground and my view was like looking somewhere completely different.
The anvil
happened to break at the same time. But you know, they were just going to different, you know, universes with a slight paradox of something would be slightly different, or a slight anomaly in the universe. That something was, you know, slightly different in each one that they went to, and it'd be interesting if they went to one that was like on this in this parallel universe, the Earth is flat.
I was thinking about other planets the other day. And I was thinking how it could be crazy. There could be a planet with humanoids, but the planet is so massive that they, you know, like Earth could be the size of a pea compared to it, sort of thing. So like there are these people that literally couldn't land on our planet because they're just so fucking big compared to us.
How many levels do you have?
17.
Can you come make a shovel for me?
Sure.
As some books I want to put on the shovel, and I'm out of levels because I died at the the last episode.
Like I was trying to explain to my daughter how like distance affects like insects compared to us, because she was asked. She kept saying this dragonfly everywhere we'd go. It was a different dragonfly, but I can't.
She thought it was the same one.
She did. She was convinced. She got really upset when we stopped one place, and she thought that we had lost him because we went too fast. She got really mad at me for driving too fast and losing the dragonfly. And I was like, "Fucking! I hope I see a dragonfly soon." So I can stop being blamed for something I didn't do.
Did you finally see one?
Yeah.
Or she forgot about it?
No, she has not. Today, in fact, she was looking for dragonflies, so that to see if it was still around today. And luckily, when we went to swim, there was dragonflies. She's like, "He's still here." Like,
well, now it's going to be really sad when she finds one and she's like, "Daddy, this isn't the same one."
Well, whenever we went, we stopped by a friend's house, and I was like, "Look, he's here," because this was after he'd been missing, and she's like, "No, this one's green," and I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, that's not it. Of course not." So
you're like, "So this doesn't work anymore." Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I came across a news headline today, and I'm curious what you would have thought if you read this headline, because I'll tell you, I was so excited and confused all at the same time when I was trying to figure this thing out.
Okay.
The headline is reality winner receives record-setting prison sentence.
Oh man, did you think it was going to be fuck the dude that evaded taxes?
Which dude evaded taxes?
Are
you talking
season
the
1
first
winner?
Survivor winner?
Richard Hatch, was that his name?
You're right. Okay, so I didn't specifically think him, but I definitely was like, "Oh, this has to do like what other reality show is somebody gonna be getting some record-setting breaking?" Well, first I thought, okay, is this related to the reality show? And then if it is, what's the reality show that it's going to be like the most related to that I would make headlines? And I instantly went to Survivor, but I'm like, let me read this news article, at least the beginning of this news article, to find out if it really is even like related to a reality show, or if it's just saying like this winner coincidentally is,
Right.
now in trouble for something else. So I start reading the article, and it's about releasing classified information. So I was like, "Oh, damn! So this gotta be about Survivor or something like that, because they're probably considered the winners, and the pecking order or whatever being classified documents in relation to the show." So I'm reading this article and getting so freaking confused, because it's just talking about like government classified information, and I'm not understanding what reality show this has to do with.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you went to the same place that I did. There's a fucking person whose name is Reality Winner.
Holy shit!
Worked for the government and released classified information.
Who the fuck? So wait, was the last name Winner?
Yes, the last name is a Winner, and I had to read this article, and there was like even a picture of this person, and under it just said Reality Winner, and I'm like, I don't understand why you're just telling me that this person's a reality winner as opposed to telling me
Who the fuck has a last name Winner and names their child Reality?
It took me so long to understand who this person was. And
That's just bad parenting, man.
Now.
In my opinion.
Reality Winner on Thursday received a record-setting prison sentence, 5 years and 3 months behind bars, for leaking a top-secret government report about Russian meddling in the 2016 election. I was like, okay, so what reality winner. All of a sudden,
what reality show did he win? And why does he have classified information?
Right. It took me so long to realize that this is a fucking person's name.
That is a wild name, man. Who names their child Reality for one thing?
And let me, yeah, and for another thing, if you're a news agency, is this not something you think others might get confused by?
I feel like that. I agree with you on this. I feel like that is a easily confused thing.
Reality winner. And I was just trying to think of, like, you know, well, what should I name my next kid that's going to be just as confusing for, you know, if he ever, like, gets in the headlines for something or other, you know? What's
Reality?
What should I name? Campbell's Soup.
Well, your last name had to be Soup if you do that. That's the problem.
Maybe it could be a middle name.
There you go. There you go. It's unfortunate. I mean, why did we need a middle name? It's kind of funny when you think about the fact that there, you know, we just started adding names, like, because like,
I mean, true. Yeah. Why? What is the point of a middle name?
Yeah, never really get any use.
I mean, I personally, I don't know what your thought process is. I think we might have talked about this before, and I can't remember. Because a lot of people ask me the question, like, oh, Jeff, like, they were actually surprised that, like, my first one I did, and they're like, oh, are you going to name him, like, Jeff Jr.? No, absolutely not. I am completely against naming a child a junior in the household, not for the aspect that I don't like my name, but for the concept of confusion.
You're right.
Why do you want to confuse the issues?
I feel like the people that do juniors, I feel like that's almost like a mental condition. Like there's something wrong with you that you feel that there's some kind of like complex that can be associated with the naming of a junior, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, you need to like, you need there to be more of you or something like that. There's something wrong with you that you feel the need that you're not satisfied just having a kid. It's also got to have your fucking name too.
Well, and then I always find it funny when, you know, my name is Jeff Sano. However, if I do decide to name my child Jeff Sano as well, so that there's a Jeff Jr., I all of a sudden inherit a senior.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that. Suddenly, you're now Jeff Jr. Senior or Jeff Senior.
Well, yes, Jeff. So I guess if Jeff Jr. names his son Jeff Jr. as well, is he now Jeff Senior?
Oh, I don't. Oh, fuck, I don't know. What does that make you?
The senior.
I don't know. What is that? What is that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's like junior and senior. Or I guess it'd be. You could have like the thirds and things like that. Because don't you normally go? It's if you name your kid the same name, it's like from my lineage, I'd be like Jeff Jr. and Jeff the third.
I don't know what the I guess it is. I guess it's the third. So do you always maintain senior when you die? Are you still the only senior and he's still the junior, even though you're dead?
I mean, I guess. And it's kind of funny because when you think about it from that perspective as well, you always think of a junior as like the kid. But what if the dad is like older and dies of old age? Let's not even saying like anything unnatural, lives to, 85 years old, dies. The kid is now 85 years old, and you're calling this kid junior on their deathbed?
Right. Yeah.
It's just weird.
That's the other thing about juniors is they often don't even get to their first name. They just become junior.
Yeah. Yeah. And for any of you guys out there who are a junior, I'm not like, dissing your name or anything. Like, but it's against my concept of anything I'd ever want to do for my family. But I just think it's so weird. The whole inheriting of the senior, just because you name something junior, is like, I don't know, does that make you, because as a senior always makes you feel like you're obviously the more powerful, one in the family, just because the senior is like one of those titles. It's weird. I'm taking classes. I'm supposed to be. One of them got canceled because of low enrollment, but there's another one starting up soon. I have 2 classes for promotion in the fire department that I need to take, and I get a promotion to lieutenant when I finish these classes from master. And I'm almost hesitant to get the promotion because doesn't master sound so much more powerful than lieutenant?
It really does. If I'm a fire though it also makes you sound very intimidating. If you're a fire master, like people might want to watch out. But if you're a fire lieutenant,
they call you a master firefighter. It just sounds cooler.
It does sound cooler. I completely agree.
I don't know. Maybe that's the video game culture. Maybe it's that I've never been in the military, and because I don't know what the ranks are, if they're in line the same way. But like, Halo Master Chief is like this badass dude that you always play at. I don't know where that rank is at in the hierarchy, but I always thought that Master Chief was like a high level badass.
I'm looking it up. Is Master a military rank? A Master Sergeant is the military rank for a senior non-commissioned officer in the armed forces.
Senior non-commissioned? Would you just be a sergeant if you're like a commissioned officer?
I don't know.
Well, I guess what does it mean to be non-commissioned?
I don't know.
This is my non-military coming out that I
I have no idea.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep the master forever, just because how often can people say like Master Chef? You don't become a lieutenant chef.
I could never keep up with all this shit. Like I'm looking at it right now. Master Sergeant is the 8th enlisted rank, ranking above Sergeant First Class and below Sergeant Major Command. Sergeant Major of the Army, and equal in grade, but not authority to First Sergeant. Is abbreviated as MSG.
Oh, that's great. So hold the MSG. You start to come along. And sergeants are below lieutenants in standard ranking, though, right?
I don't fucking know, man.
I know in the police force, my dad was a police officer, and he was a sergeant, and when he retired, and I know he had tried to get promoted to lieutenant at some point during his career, and didn't. Wasn't the one that was chosen for the position or whatever. So that's the only reason I know that lieutenant, at least in the state police of Michigan, is a higher rank than a sergeant is. But sergeant's still pretty, pretty high up, respectable rank. It's just not, you can go higher with lieutenant. And the fire side, at least in my department, we don't have sergeants. It goes, fire 1, fire 2, fire 3, master, lieutenant, and then captain, chief.
So there's not that many ranks. That's much easier to keep track of than all that other bullshit I just said.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to keep track of, but I mean, it's for a complete. I guess if you're a fire chief, you're still in. If you're a fire, you're still in charge of like the fire ground, though. Whereas I guarantee a military master sergeant is in charge of a hell of a lot more than a single fire ground.
Right.
There's a lot more responsibility involved with a rank like that. I would never discount what the people in the military do for sure. I just don't understand what the ranks mean because I'm not part of the military.
So does your fire, are there like district people too? Like, are there people in charge of multiple stations, like over top of?
Yeah, there's like battalions. So there's multiple battalions that the county is split up into. So a battalion consists of, a handful of stations, and there's like battalion chiefs. So, but it's really weird the way the whole chief ranking works. I believe a battalion chief is below the rank. I just found this out recently because my chiefs were talking about it because somebody wants a promotion. And I guess at Kensington, where I'm at, they've kind of skipped over the battalion chief part for some reason in the last multiple years, but they're thinking about reinstating it. But I guess battalion chief is a lesser rank than a duty chief.
Duty chief.
Well, duty. But when you get to a fire ground, whatever chief is the first on scene is the one that takes command. And even if it's a battalion chief versus a duty chief, they're not. A duty chief doesn't come and be like, "Oh, I'm higher ranked than you. This is my command now," unless something's really getting fucked up. So they kind of are treated at the same rank once an incident gets started. But I think it's just the jurisdiction that they have to respond to different types of incidents.
Right. That's good. You always see these shows where the FBI shows up and the local police show up and it's like, it's my case.
Yeah. That doesn't. You're all going to be.
Meanwhile,
you're all going to be under
burning
the
down.
Montgomery County auspices. So if a fire happens in Montgomery County, it's handled by Montgomery County. There's no state fire that will come in and take over from you. There might be a state fire marshal that comes in to do an investigation, and then they'll have authority on the scene because they need to do an investigation for the state, but they're not controlling the incident as it's happening.
Right.
Yeah. I guess that's the difference with the fire service is, you control an incident until the incident is completed, and then you're done. Whereas police investigations, those investigations go on for weeks, months, years, whatever.
Right.
It's a whole different.
So you said you were doing a thing to get a promotion as a volunteer firefighter. Why does it matter?
It doesn't at all, and it's really fucking funny. Is the difference in my scope or my span of control from a master to a lieutenant changes zero.
Okay.
I have no new authority or responsibility. And then from lieutenant to captain is zero. I have the rights and responsibilities as a captain does right now.
Okay.
Yet it's just a ranking order, and this is sad, and this kind of shows my vein a little bit, and I don't want it to show my vein because I don't like to be that guy. I've always been somebody who likes to be in charge. I like to be the boss. I've been, a manager at McDonald's for many years when I was younger. Now I'm, the director of a department. I always like to take lead roles and things. But one of the guys who I know is not nearly as good as I am at the overall command. Like he's a really driver. He's probably one of the best drivers that we have at my station. But he's not good as an officer, and it's very clear. Many people have made it very clear he's not a good officer at all. But he took some classes recently. He just banged out all the classes he needs for actually promotion all the way up to lieutenant. He's a rank below me right now. Technically, master's an optional rank, and you can rank somebody directly up to lieutenant according to policy, but our station traditionally does not. They make you sit at master for a year. However, I don't have enough classes to promote yet. I need 2 more to promote. He's got enough classes to be lieutenant, but you still have to earn the promotion. And he was basically telling me, he was laughing the other day because he's trying to convince them to promote him directly up to lieutenant because he thinks he deserves it. And it's almost for me, I don't want this person to ever outrank me. I want to at least match their rank, so that's why I decided to take the classes, sign up for the classes so I can get promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it shows my vein. It's terrible. It's really terrible. However, this person is one of those people that gets really cocky when they outrank somebody. Really cocky to the people who he ranks over, and I don't like people like that, and I don't ever want to be outranked by somebody like that.
That's funny.
So it's one of those
right,
things,
right. I'm like the opposite. I don't ever want to be in charge of anything. I hate being the leader. I always feel like I get stuck in that fucking role, and I hate it.
It's a
leader, basically.
It's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of shit on your shoulders that I don't like that part of. But I don't know. I always thrive in situations where I get in control. I don't know.
Right. I never had a problem doing it. It's just I'm always the guy that doesn't want to do it. And I feel like it always gets thrust on me. Thrust
on me. You told me I'd like it.
That's funny.
I really need to get my pick is almost dead. So
yeah, I've been in the skeleton farm. Well, that's why I was Googling what the MSG's at.
I've been walking around because I was trying to figure out if there's any good way I have right now to get my pick repaired.
No, I'm down here because it's bad off and couldn't really do much else until I fixed it. So, but we're also out of time. So I guess we'll see everyone in the next one.
All right, guys. See you.